Jennifer's very much set the scene, I think set out the tasks we had ahead of us, but I just want to talk a little bit about how we all get there together. I think it's really important, and what else we need to consider as we move towards 2020. So one of the main things, as we keep saying, I'm sure we'll say it many times today, is that the funded ELC entitlement must be delivered in high quality settings, in a provider neutral way, and every setting must be meeting the new national standards. Now Laura Hill, as we talked about again from the Scottish Government, she'll be going over more of this. So I'm just going to touch on some of those because it does help explain a little bit of how we've been working together. So the provider neutral approach, that means the choice is placed in the parent of the carer's hands. Now that enables them to access their child's funded entitlement from any provider that meets the national standard, has a place available and is willing to enter into a commissioned contract with the council. So now that is whether or not they're public, they're private sector or third sector. So each setting is commissioned on their own merits. And no, we can't prefer any setting above the other one. So it's not the local authority say it all has to be delivered in their own settings. It has to be done in a provider neutral way. So private, public and third sector are all meeting the same criteria and held to those same high standards. So what it is about that meaningful and really genuine partnership and genuine conversations we have to make sure that we're delivering that really quality provision that meets the needs of the children. So there's something that I think Laura will talk on again, and you might see a few expressions bandied around. So that one of them is that the funding follows the child, and basically that means to make sure there's a sustainable rate that's given to all providers, to make sure the provider settings can not only deliver high quality experiences, but also that their staff are given that fair wage as well. So all our staff delivering the L1114 must be paid at least the real living wage. I think that's a fantastic thing to be all of us working towards. So back to the national standard briefly, and Jennifer touched on it. So it's about ensuring quality, flexibility, accessibility and affordability within the funded hours. And that's again to all providers, and that includes childminders as well. So I said they're quite easy words to bandy about. You see things like partnership, quality, sustainability, but what actually does that look like on the ground, especially in somewhere like Highland? And how do you know that we're really, really working in partnership? So I think for me, it's about really, really good communication. It's about that trusted relationship that you have. It's about respecting all the different sectors and the professionalism of all our staff that are delivering the ELC. And that genuine partnership working has to go on between providers, the local authority, or also the providers, and the parents and the carers as well. It's about each of the child having the very best opportunity to learn, to play and to flourish. So all staff need to be valued, respected and given opportunities to achieve the highest standards that they themselves want to achieve. Now working in partnership isn't always easy. It does require work, it does require dialogue and it does require trust and a little bit of give and take. But I do feel in Highland we are doing a lot of work around that. We have partnership forums and we meet on a really regular basis, and if there's an issue that's come up, instead of just sitting back and going, I can't believe I did that, we pick up the phone, we have that conversation, because it's about communication. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding, sometimes we just do a bit of work, and that goes across all the sectors. And I think it's been really exciting to see the developing partnerships that from ourselves have had with the private and the third sector. We are working much closer together as well as working with councils. So it's really brought all of us together with a child in the centre. So how do we get there? The national standard says, indeed all of us agree, that quality is absolutely the heart of the positive ELC experiences. There's lots and lots of research and evidence that show that all children, especially those from more disadvantaged backgrounds, really benefit from attending ELC. The evidence also tells us that it has to be really, really high quality, give those child the absolutely best start in life, and especially help to close that poverty-related attainment gap. So that's why it's at the very heart of the national standard, and that's those consistent quality criteria. So we keep talking about quality, we shouldn't think we have a long way to go. We've been doing this in Highland for a really long time. The partnership working has been going on a long time, as has that high quality. Across Scotland, over 91% of settings delivering ELC are already reaching inspection evaluations of what did I say the word? Good or better, so I couldn't remember the expression, good or better, and over 40% are getting very good and excellent. So we just need to keep that up, and as we move to 1140, we can't let that quality drop. But we are getting there, and I think we're all working together on that. Again, the slight thing we have here, of course, as we touched on Highland, is that rural aspect. How do we make sure that we keep that quality up when we have staff and settings spread across a really, really diverse geographical area? We've got different distances for children, for parents, for everyone to be staff to be travelling to access that ELC entitlement. So it can be challenging. Weather can be challenging, roads can be challenging, just making sure that everybody feels that they're part of the wider rollout of all of this together. So if we want to talk about ensuring we're supporting a quality workforce, I just want to talk a little bit about what CALA does, because we work very closely with Council, and part of our funding is from the Council to help support practitioners across all the sectors. We do that in lots of different ways, recognise the challenges in geography. So we go out and we deliver training to all staff within the sector. We can do that in 2 or 3 different ways. We do it in a face-to-face way. We can go out twilight sessions, weekends if that meets the staff needs, meets child minders needs, and we can deliver training in a way, in a time and a place that suits the staff. We also have an e-learning zone, which means staff can access training and updates at a time and place that suits them, from their own home, from their setting, and so it's a really good way just to kind of keep in touch with some of the different things that are happening. We've got lots and lots of those on our website as well. And what we're currently trying within CALA, and would love to roll out to the whole sector, is a professional network support that we're doing. So we're doing different networks for our practitioners and our managers, and we're doing picking a topic self-evaluation, and then we do a lot of work with them remotely. So we have a Skype session set up, Adobe Connect, and we have that discussion, a professional discussion, where we keep supporting that learning. So if you're based in Tongue, or you're based in Kinloch Burvey, or Kincraig, wherever you are, everyone has that same opportunity to access that support and that development. I think that's really important to keep those conversations going. We'd love to see how we roll it out a little bit more. There's lots more information about CALA and all the different projects downstairs in the foyer. And we also have our Opening Doors projects that supports and mentors young people and adult returners into careers, because sometimes, although there's lots of information out there, it can be a bit of a complicated pathway of how to get into ELC, and we just want to make that as easy as possible. And we also have our supply relief staff bank. Again, that goes out working with the council and with private settings. We put our childcare relief practitioners into all settings. And again, there's an opportunity for people to try careers in ELC. They get the training, the support, they can go out and have a little bit of a test and see how that works. So we all work together to make sure that people have as many opportunities as possible. And again, they're downstairs in the foyer. So lots of stuff going on within CALA for training, but I know that Highland Council do a lot of their own training, a lot of opportunities as well. So Jennifer's going to touch on some of those.
Thank you, Jackie. It's really awkward holding this, by the way. So I think Jackie's really set the scene around the importance and the value of us working in collaboration, and around the use of the staff bank. And I think that's a really important kind of thing to consider if you're looking at a career in early years in the first instance, because it does give you the training and it gives you the opportunities to really see if it is what you're looking at. I'm now going to go on and talk a wee bit more about developing the ELC workforce. I mean, I've talked about 200 settings and delivering 1140 hours from August of next year. A lot of them is, that's a doubling of what they're originally doing. So there's a big commitment for us around additional staffing. So we've had to do, and we are in the process of doing a lot of work around what that looks like. So, and I think one of the really important things around that is that this work's not just starting now. I mean, as 600 hours were rolled out 5 years ago, and we had to look at the kind of career structure then, and the whole role of the early years practitioner and moving that forward. So over the last few years, what we have developed is a very clear careers pathway around how you can work in early years. So within the local authority, our career pathway looks a bit like a support worker, so coming in, probably with very little experience of working in early years. Expectation would be that at that level you would be kind of working towards an SBQ2, and certainly Emma, who is one of our childcare managers, and we'll be doing a presentation later on, will talk a wee bit more around the kind of career construction and kind of talk about that in a bit more detail. So in relation to, so we have a support worker, then we have an EYP, senior EYP, a graduate, and then childcare manager and commissioner. So that's the kind of career structure which suggests that actually there's lots of opportunities, when people look at careers in early years. And I think originally there was a belief that working in childcare was something you did if you couldn't do anything else. And we're absolutely saying, absolutely not. Going back to the whole bit about quality, the importance of the value of our staff. So we need to ensure that our staff are trained up and are getting as many opportunities for as much training as possible to ensure that the quality maintains over everything that we do. So in relation to the kind of career structure and the kind of significant posts that we've created within Highland Council, this is our first year of having modern apprentices. This year we've got 6 in post, and ambitiously we're looking at actually rolling that out to 50 modern apprentices year on year. So that's a huge big kind of move forward for us around that. So we have actually, with the support of Skills Development Scotland, created 2 additional posts within our learning and development team that will support the mentoring of our modern apprentices. And a lot of these modern apprentices won't necessarily be new additional staff. It will be a way of us kind of moving through that kind of bit of training up our unqualified staff at the moment. So that's something that we need to look at. The other bit is we also have we've worked in partnership with UHI, who have created a new post, and I think when Alice is talking later, she will be talking about the graduate apprenticeship kind of posts. There's 15 of them across Highland. CALA have one, I think there's another one at Limetree in Inverness, and Highland Council will be taking on a couple as well. So again, that's another opportunity for us. So looking at an EYP role, but in a kind of more academic side of things. So that will be from August of this year. We also have 6 additional graduates based across Highland in areas of kind of multiple deprivation. And again, we've got Janice with us today, who's one of our graduates and works at the Family Centre in Merkinch. Her post there is fundamental to kind of moving forward around raising attainment and working with families, and really, really important. That what we've seen over this school year is the value of that post across the settings that we've got them in, and that they've developed as a staff team and come up with some really innovative approaches. And I think in relation to the stalls downstairs, Janice, there's some information around what you've been doing at Merkinch, so please go and have a look at that. The other posts that we've looked at are the childcare manager post, and we've got a couple of childcare managers here today, and that will be talking later on and kind of telling their story and their journey through the career pathway. We've also created a peripatetic childcare manager role, which is that's a fairly new approach to how we deliver the role. So the childcare managers sit in large nursery settings, part of the senior management team, and support the kind of the development of the nursery provision. The peripatetic role will be much more kind of office based and linking in to support kind of settings to be ready to deliver 1140. So a huge big kind of expectation on that role over the next year. We also have ELC commissioners, so again they're my link with an operation at an operational level. So their role is to actually do the project work at an operational level. If you think about the landmass of Belgium and the whole size of the 4 areas of Highland, to manage the project realistically for one person just isn't doable. So actually to have the 4 commissioners in post is the bit that will allow us to really move forward. And again, we've got Angela, one of our commissioners, with us today, which is great. She's come all the way down from the north. So, and I think that really just kind of outlays the career pathway that there is around careers in early years. I think I think that's the important bit around the workforce. But the other side of that is that that we're striving to move forward. We're recruiting staff all the time. That we're mindful of the fact that terms and conditions of working for a local authority can be better than it can be within the within partner centres. So we have to work very closely, and Jaci and I have regular conversations about us poaching staff and what have you, and how that we can actually support each other to ensure that actually that staff are wanting to remain where they are, and that we're not losing them to partner centres. And I think that's the whole bit about the value and significance of a provider neutral approach. So working very closely together around kind of developing that. I think really, I suppose what I really want to kind of sum up on, moving forward is, is it achievable for us to be delivering 1140 hours across Highland by August 2020? It's a huge big ask. I don't have a very big team, and they're all sniggering, the ones that do work with me, because
14 months.
14 months, absolutely, Angela, and we have these questions we're now on a weekly basis within the project team of saying, well, can we do it, and because, particularly around the bits of work that we're doing with our estates team, anything that you do around building warrants, seemingly building warrants take forever, modular units, which used to be old prefabs for those of you that were around in my day at school, even just kind of looking at getting them kind of secured and in place is just a huge big ask. And if you think about it, Highland are only one of 32 local authorities doing this. So the demand on modular units is huge. So again, how do we creatively look at that? And I think one of the ways that we've creatively approached that across Highland is looking at each setting as an associated school group. So looking at what's there, what's currently available, how we can work together with our partners, how we can utilise outdoor provision much more kind of creatively. And Kay from Kay Inspector will no doubt touch on that when she does her kind of talk. And I think one of the things that we've been very mindful about around the use of the outdoors, that it's not just about opening your door and having free flow out into the garden and having an additional 20% capacity from that. It's ensuring that you change hearts and minds so that your staff are committed to being outdoors in whatever weather. And they tell me in Wick that you can't do outdoor provision because of the wind, but I'm working on that one. I've certainly been in our forest outside Noss, which is one of the local primary schools out there, in a hurricane. And actually, it was great. So, so that I think it is about that bit about changing mindset. So we're working in partnership with Stramash to support us to deliver one-day training sessions across all 4 areas, and they are open to not just local authority settings, but also partner centres as well. And then been really, really ambitious next year, where we're looking at a year-long kind of course around kind of a train the trainer kind of ethos around support for our staff to deliver outdoor provision. So we're really, really excited. And my theory is I love the outdoors, and I think if we can't deliver outdoor provision in Highland, then nobody can do it. And I certainly know that my son, who I'm going to embarrass because he's here today as a kind of interested, if outdoor provision when he was at nursery had been available, he would have been outside all the time. So I think it is that bit about changing hearts and minds that's really important. So is it achievable? It's a big job, but yes, I think it is, and I think it is about us all working in partnership to move that forward. I'm going to hand over to Jaci to kind of sum up, and I think just to say that we are around today, so if there are any questions you've got, and you're not going to be about at 5 o'clock today, please kind of corner us and ask us whatever you've got to want to know anything on.
Thank you. One thing I forgot to say in terms of the sort of pathway around the workforce is the step before that, and that's the volunteering step. And we always accept and we love to support our volunteers across lots of different settings and lots of different opportunities. It doesn't have to just be, if you're interested, you think you might want to have a career in ELC, come and talk to us, because there's some great opportunities, and so not just within our settings, with our family support team and everything, just get the experience of working and playing and loving being with children, because that's actually what it's all about. I mean, I think just to sum up, there's always information, all day there'll be information, but actually to me, it's about the slides right here. It's happy staff, happy parents, and happy children, and I think that's what it's all about. Thank you.